And why did you write it? I'm like really confused as to why that was like a big bomb that was dropped. You literally sat down and said you're showing favoritism. Like, at the end of the day, this argument is low-key kind of stupid, and I'm kind of over it. It was getting very microaggressive. It was giving his chumpy was coming out. He literally stooped down after she dogged him out. That's not what he did with Huda. It was a lot going on. I ain't never seen nothing like this. Oh, girl. This is, oh my gosh. Like, girl, I don't know. It's not giving respectful. But instead of somebody airing that out, like, be so for real, as if she didn't call every single person in the house that. Why the freak are you chiming in? If you don't like it, move on. Like, she's not gonna change. Yeah, that didn't make no sense. I have issues with exactly what she said. Hey y'all, my name is Des, and today I want to yap about Love Island Season 7. So the way I usually do these videos is I talk about specific controversies from episodes A to B, right? However, I feel like this season is different from other seasons I've watched in general, and I just kind of feel like I just watched an episode that kind of needed to be talked about on its own. That episode is the episode where they do the mail game. That's what I'm calling it. I know it's called Stand on Business, whatever, but I'm calling it the mail game because they're giving you mail, the freak. So I wanted to talk about this game because I feel like there's so much to unpack, and I don't think I would feel like I could get enough out without making the video too long within my third part of the Love Island video. So that's what I'm gonna be doing here. I'm gonna be talking about just that game. I'm gonna break down each card that was given, and we're just gonna deep dive into that game. So just jumping on into it, I first want to talk about Austin. Austin's card, he only got one. It was basically saying that he doesn't give any girls effort and they don't really know why he's still there.
Clock that T. Clock it. Clock that T.
Now I will say, I don't know why Austin is still there either. And he honestly said the same thing. So I'm just like, nobody really knows why he's here, but he's here, so we have to deal with it. But at the same time, I think saying that he doesn't give any girl effort is a stretch. I think specifically, he didn't give Chelley literally any effort at all. And Amaya, I think they just weren't at the same speed, like Amaya said. And I think if Amaya was more his speed, he would have given more effort, you know what I mean? Whereas when you look at him and Jaden, it's like, okay, you're giving something, I guess. It's not really a lot. I feel like he really just isn't the kind of man to give a girl effort. Obviously, just seeing his relationships throughout the whole villa so far, I don't know. I feel like he just isn't the type of person to do that. I think in this situation compared to Ace, yeah, he wasn't doing nothing. Like, he really wasn't. And I feel like that's really the main scenario you can use that. So the next islander to receive mail was Cierra. Cierra got two cards. Her first one was basically saying, do you know that you and Nick are not as quiet as you think you are? Yeah, girl, I have never. All the Love Island seasons I've seen where someone was getting freaky, it happened in the Hideaway. I don't know if I've ever seen, if I have, I don't know. I don't think it was as big of a deal, or only happened one time with one person throughout the entire show, I guess. I don't know. The only times I can really remember was in the Hideaway, you know what I mean? So it's the fact that Nick and Cierra, how many times has it been so far? Three? Because I know they did it that one time that Nick said it lasted 25 seconds. And then they did it a second time, said that lasted 40 seconds. And then the next day they locked it in and they did it again. And it was like, I think I wouldn't have as big of an issue with it if they were in the Hideaway or if they went somewhere else. But it's like, you're doing this in a room full of people. It's not even like they were asleep, girl. Y'all waited till the lights turned off to just get it popping. And it's like, that's really low-key disrespectful, especially to people. who did not consent to being in the room when that specifically was gonna happen. Like, at least Iris and TJ, I'm pretty sure they also got freaky, but it was in soul ties, like outside, not in the room full of people. I feel like that's pretty decent and more respectful, honestly. So I'm just like, if you're gonna do something like that, go on a daybed, please. The next note that she got was the one I actually genuinely like had an issue with. Like, I was low-key, I wasn't fuming, but I was like, does she really think this like makes sense in her head? Basically, the note, I believe it was from Pepe, and he was basically like, why did y'all kick Hannah out when she had something going strong with Pepe, whatever. Finally, they like said it in front of the group, or Cierra said it in front of the group, their reasonings for picking Hannah when they dumped Hannah. Cierra's explanation for why they picked Hannah was that she had the chance to explore whatever, and when she was with Pepe, it was like just tunnel vision. She didn't, you know, explore outside of that. She just locked in with one connection, yada yada, whatever. I have issues with exactly what she said. One, I will say I understand her reasonings for not choosing Iris, because yes, I also agree that Iris was getting a little like budding relationship with TJ. I don't necessarily think she should have gone, basically. However, her saying that Amaya didn't get the chance to build connections like Hannah did, as if they didn't come in at the exact same time. Now, I'm not saying if you come in like you're automatically gonna form a relationship, but Hannah didn't have a leg up. Like, she just happened to find somebody who was her speed and connected with her very well. And that's just the way, like, that's just the way the world is, you know? Sometimes you get somebody, sometimes you don't. But you can't say, like, Amaya didn't have the chance, because she definitely did have the chance. She just wasn't meeting the right people. So that's one thing I really have an issue with. The other thing I really have an issue with is her saying that Hannah had, like, tunnel vision with Pepe. Are we really gonna act like Charlie did not exist? Like, are we really gonna act like he was not in the villa before Pepe got here? Like, Hannah came in, she explored people, she connected with Charlie, so they coupled up. They're coupled up, they're chill, whatever. And then Pepe comes in. She's exploring Pepe and wanting to explore the other guys. And I'm like, why are we acting like Hannah was locked in as soon as Charlie walked in, or as soon as Pepe walked in, or as soon as just she walked in? That's not how it happened at all. She literally did explore. So I'm really confused. Like, did we see something different than they saw? Because as far as we could see, she was exploring. So I don't get how we can see she's exploring, but y'all don't see that. Yeah, that didn't make no sense.
I feel like you're someone who came in and was really adamant about wanting to explore all of your connections in the villa, and I feel like once you and Hannah had gotten paired up, it was very tunnel vision. And I mean,
like, why not? You have a name, right? Your name is literally just a bunch of letters smushed together to make a collective sound so that you can respond to it. It doesn't fucking exist. Not real. Pulled out of thin air. Time? Not real. Time was just invented so that we humans didn't go crazy when the sun goes down. The only thing right about time is that there's 24 hours in a day. And there's 24 hours in a day because it takes the Earth 23 hours and 56 minutes to spin once. It has to do with the planets and the stars and the galaxies and all that.
So the next Islander who got mail was Amaya. Now, Amaya's, I don't know, I can't remember if she got more than one. I think it was just the one. But basically, hers said that you're very, like, emotional, you cry a lot, and you're also too much in relationships, you move too fast, or whatever. And this was given to her by Austin. If you don't like an emotional girl, you can move on. It's completely normal to have emotions. Everybody reacts to things in different ways. Amaya literally does wear her heart on her sleeve. So her crying in uncomfortable situations or frustrating situations or genuinely sad in situations is not something to fault her for or use as a con or use it against her or anything like that. There's nothing wrong with having emotions, point blank, period. And like she said, said, if she's not your cup of tea, don't drink it. Like, that's my issue. Like, if you don't like it, move on. Like, she's not gonna change. This is how she's been since she's come in. So I don't know why people acting like she's gonna change. Like, if she's not your cup of tea, move on. And I don't really get Austin saying it, because she literally asked you if you were uncomfortable, and you said, I'm not really uncomfortable. I think I'm just, like, not used to it. As we cut to the clip where you're telling the guys you're uncomfortable. Yeah, right, but that's her fault. That's her fault for not getting the message, which I will say she did get the message. Literally, the next clip, she was like, I think he's really uncomfortable, but he's not voicing it. So it's the fact that you didn't voice it, and she had to pick up on that cue herself. You're saying she's, like, not emotionally mature because she cries. Okay. And Ace, why the freak are you chiming in? Like, y'all were coupled up for 2 seconds before you basically cut her off. So let's not act like you really have any say-so. And thank you, hallelujah, thank the Lord for Brian, because it's like not a single person has straight up told Ace, like, all his boys are like reaffirming what he's already thinking. Not a single one has just basically said, 1, this is just how she is in general. 2, she's Hispanic. This is how a lot of Hispanic people talk to people that they feel like endearment from. Like, you're acting like she's like saying, baby, my love, the love of my life, my husband. She wasn't saying that. She literally just said babe. And that was your issue? Like, be so for real, as if she didn't call every single person in the house that. Please don't act dense with me right now, and stop bringing this freaking up. Like, I'm so over it. Thank you, Brian, for standing up for her, because I've been like, that's been pissing me off since he started that argument. And finally, my last little thing with that, I'm just like, Zach, she's already crying. Like, I get you want to voice your feelings, but I think in that moment, it's like, she's already crying. She's already sobbing. It's just like, way to knock a girl when she's down. Like, let my girl breathe. I don't understand why you felt the need to chime in as she's literally crying. She's crying. So the next person to receive mail was Pepe. And Pepe's basically said, you're not into Grayson as much as you are Hannah. That's basically what it said. To that, I'm gonna say, you have to think about the fact that Pepe did not recouple up with somebody. Pepe got saved and Hannah did not. So it was like Hannah was ripped away from him, and with the way the casa setup is, which I will talk about in Love Island video part 3, don't even worry, we're gonna talk about that. But with the way the casa setup was this season, he was literally forced to make another connection without having time to give himself closure. Like, there were deadlines, there were forced recouplings and stuff like that. It's like he didn't have time to give himself the closure that no one else was really giving him. Like, if you literally watched, he was not able to sleep the night Hannah was taken, because it was like, wow, just a few hours ago everything was fine. I was comfortable where I was at, and the person that I was comfortable with got taken away from me. He has every right to still be affected by that, because he hasn't had really the time to process it because of how quickly everything is moving and how the way things are set up to where he's being forced to basically talk to somebody new and move on. Like I said, I think this is perfectly fine, but I do think he should definitely communicate that with Grayson instead of somebody airing that out. Like, I feel like that wasn't, I think this is one of the things that should not have been aired out. Like, you should have let him talk to Grayson about that like a grown man. And then it was like, an issue I had honestly was probably Grayson's response, and she was basically like, if you're not really feeling this, if you're really thinking about people from your past, which I don't really like the way she be talking about Hannah. Like, girl, I don't know, it's not giving respectful. It was like, she was like, if you're not able to get over people from your past, you should tell me so that I can talk to other people. And I'm just like, he's not your keeper, girl. Like, Pepe's not stopping you from talking to other people. If you want to talk to other people, all you have to do is communicate that and see what he has to say, and then go from there. I don't understand why you're acting like it's his fault why you don't have any other connections, when it's not really. Like, you locked in since the beginning of Gossip Be So for real. Oh, girl. This is, oh my gosh, it was like things low-key got heated when Amaya went, but it was more like emotional, like sadness, because Amaya was being basically attacked pretty much. But when Ace went, Girl, I don't even know. We done lost the whole plot. It was a lot going on. I ain't never seen nothing like this. Basically, Ace's first one, I think Chelley wrote it. I don't know. It was about their relationship. They got stuff going on. I'm also going to talk about that in my third Love Island video. Essentially, Chelley came back, recoupled up with Ace after Casa, but told him I'm still exploring my connection with Chris, which I thought when she picked Ace that was like solidified. Okay, you're just gonna be with Ace. I was low-key surprised she said she was still gonna be exploring stuff with Chris, but I was like, okay, whatever. And Ace low-key takes a little offense to that because he sent someone home to, you know, be with Chelley, whatever. He's a little offended and doesn't really like the fact that she feels the need to still explore this far in. Which I'm like, I really do get his point. And I feel like a lot of people have been saying the same thing. Like, they hate that they have to agree with a man, let alone Ace, the ringleader who has been making all these crazy decisions. It's like, now I'm like, dang, I'm kind of like agreeing with you. I don't know. I'm kind of like perplexed as to why Chelley's not really understanding his point of view. I truly think if Chelley came back and told Ace that she wanted to just be with him, that he was gonna say, I want to close it off, straight up. I think by that point, Ace was really ready to lock it down with Chelley. He got snatched away once and then chose someone else over Chelley and then didn't really fully look back. The Iris situation is a little tricky, but we're not going to talk about that. I think Ace was really ready to lock it down, so her saying that she wasn't was kind of jarring to him. And like he voiced, he feels like he can't tell her that he wants to close it down because he doesn't want to seem like he's trying to close off her connection with Chris for her. I really just think at the end of the day that he should basically voice that he wants to close it off, but basically that he will be ready to do that whenever she's ready. You know what I mean? I think it's just the fact that he hasn't straight up said those words that he wants to fully lock in. I feel like that could be something that Chelley is waiting for, and that would solve this whole conflict, because it's honestly pretty draining, because it's like they're talking at each other and it's mostly Chelley not really hearing Ace, and it's like, girl, come on, like, get with the program. The way he went about proving this was, first he straight up just went straight to Andreina and was like, do you feel like Jeremiah was coming on pretty strong? She was like, yes. And then he just was like, see, that's what I mean, love bombing. And I'm like, Jeremiah coming on strong to a girl that he likes does not equal love bombing. Mind you, she was coming on just as strong, talking about he's pretty much my dream boy. Like, are we gonna ignore that? Are we gonna act like Jeremiah is this big old villain? Like, no, he was not love bombing her. In my eyes, I feel like love bombing is like you're giving all this excessive love to somebody just to dump them the next day with no regrets, no feelings, whatever. That's not what he did with Huda. Like, if you're gonna say that he was love bombing Huda, they were love bombing each other at that point, because they were both giving each other excessive amounts of love, which I feel like that's just how they show how much they care about somebody, or that's how they love each other. I didn't think it was toxic in the way they were loving each other. I think it more so got toxic in the sense of jealousy, very much so. I don't think he was love bombing her at all, because it's not like he just gave her that excessive love and then dumped her the next day. He very much so doubled back and tried to make it work, and it just didn't end up working out. He literally stooped down after she dogged him out and tried to fix it. Like, that's not giving love bombing. And then it got even worse, because then Amaya was trying to chime in because Ace started basically coming for Austin's character as opposed to what he was saying at that point. He was literally, Amaya started chiming in or whatever, and Austin was like, Amaya, you're not in the conversation. And the way he was talking to her was giving very microaggressive. It was giving his Trumpy was coming out. It was coming to show. He almost fully let his cover slide. Like, it was almost over for real. So the next person to get mail was Chelley, and the first one was again about Ace and Chelley's relationship. And once again, I'm just like, I don't really understand why Chelley's not understanding Ace's point of view. I'm really not understanding it. Like, I don't get how in her mind it makes sense to wanna explore but also set boundaries on what Ace can do, not even just like in general but in a challenge. I will say I do think the Ace and Huda thing in the challenge did go far. Like everyone else was saying, there's no way they're gonna say it was going too far if it wasn't going too far, you know what I mean? But Chelley, you did double back to Chris. Like, we're not gonna act like that's not also really bad. This is the one person in the way of you and Ace closing it off, and you doubled back to him. She's very much so not taking accountability for doing that, and is acting like Ace is the big villain. And it's like she kept saying like, you know, I believe so strongly in our connection, and I'm like, if you do, then close it off. If you believe so strongly in connection, close it off. Why are we still talking about another man? I don't really understand. But at the end of the day, I will die on that hill that this happened because he chose Amaya instead of Chelley. I think if he went ahead and showed her that the only reason they weren't coupled up in the first place was because he was stolen, but he wanted her all along and he was all about her, there would be no confusion. She wouldn't feel the need to constantly explore or whatever. You wouldn't feel like you're constantly sharing her with somebody if you had picked her when you had the chance, when you actually wanted to. For some reason you didn't. The second one, I didn't really have too much to say about it. I'm not gonna lie, I don't remember exactly what was said. It was something about Chris, whatever. I don't know, it was something about like, why aren't you locking it down with Ace, whatever, yada yada, whatever, why aren't you? I really don't remember. It's not that big a deal. I just know within it, Chelley said something about Chris isn't giving her the intentions that I don't really know. He isn't giving her what he said he was giving her or something like that, and that he's not doing any grand gestures. And I'm like, girl, you've been so used to Ace, the person who is all about you. At the end of the day, Ace is your number one, and you were his number one. Now he's coupled up with Huda. So the last note she got was from Huda, and it was talking about their situation, and Huda was basically saying, you're always telling me it's just a challenge, but you're not giving the same energy with this whole situation. I will say, in this specific situation, what Chelley said was completely right. Maybe the way she was saying it, or maybe some of the things weren't completely right, but the crux of what she was saying was very valid. The fact that Chelley and all the other girls would say it was just a challenge when it was like a bombshell coming in. Huda would always say, oh, I wouldn't care if you made out with Jeremiah because you're my friend. But then it was like, if Amaya came in and Iris came in and simply just put them for a chat or something, it was like, oh my God, you're this and that, name calling this, name calling that. It was like, girl, like they only really said it's just a challenge when you were losing your mind over the bombshells. There was never a need to say it's just a challenge when someone was like kissing Jeremiah, because they wouldn't really go that far to kiss Jeremiah. So there wasn't really a need to say that. So it was just like, even though you were saying you wouldn't care, they wouldn't do it because they know you do care, and they don't have any interest in getting in the middle of that. There's no real point in saying it's just a challenge, why are you not having the same energy? But I think like at the end of the day, this argument is low-key kind of stupid, and I'm kind of over it. So I'm just like, Chelley, you really should have just said, okay, I hear you. Why are we not just saying okay and moving on? That's really what I'm confused about. Quick little speed run on Huda's first little mail. Nick basically said, you should be kicked out. You should have already been kicked out so many times before, but you are still here. It was a little messy that he said that because he just pulled her, asking her how she was feeling. So pulling her and knowing that you wrote that, it's a little messy, but true. Her next mail was basically saying like, you say you're a girl's girl, but have you been following girl code, yada yada, whatever. I don't really understand really coming at her like that, especially because of the context of why they're coming at her. But it was very funny because in Huda's like rebuttal, she was like, nobody owns anybody. But that's not what it was given when Jeremiah was in the villa. But I just thought it was funny. Nothing else to say about that specific statement. I don't really understand the villainizing Huda for exploring the person she is literally coupled up with? Like, are we dense? Like, I'm really confused as to why we're genuinely mad at this girl for exploring someone who she is coupled up with and did express that she is interested. Why are we acting like she never sat Chelley down and straight up said, I think I'm interested in Chris. Like, please don't be dense. So this little last mail that Huda got was where things kind of went a little crazy on the Huda side. I really don't fully remember what was said, but it was once again about Chris. I don't really know why we're talking about Huda and Chris. I feel like it's not that big a deal. I think at some point in time, either someone called her selfish or she said she wasn't selfish. To that, I will say she has done more so things that weren't really with respect to her friends. Like, for example, pulling Pepe. I don't think pulling Pepe was that big of a deal, but I think in general, just communicating with people is more respectful than not. That's just a very, like, far-fetched example. And Chelley keeps saying that Huda told her, I'm bringing Chris back for you. I don't think they ever showed us Huda saying that, but I do remember them showing us Huda talking to Chelley before the recoupling that she wanted to get to know Chris more. So I don't really, I'm really confused on the confusion of why Huda is connecting with Chris when she expressed that. I'm like, were we not in the same room? Like, I'm so confused. Now, I will say, her saying that she's been constantly encouraging Chris to explore Chelley more was low-key a crazy statement, because it was like, girl, you literally got upset with him the other day because he made Chelley 2 pancakes and gave her a flower. That's not giving very, I want you to explore her more. You literally sat down and said you're showing favoritism. And he peeped that too. I low-key thought he was starting to check out like Jeremiah used to do. But, you know, he kept it going. So, you know, go him. But it was like, girl, favoritism? Then finally, Olandria speaks her piece, and she's chiming in, talking about some, you want to share with the class, whatever, that you kissed Chris in the speakeasy. Is she not allowed to kiss the person she's coupled? I'm like really confused as to why that was like a big bomb that was dropped. Like, why did she feel like that was like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna drop this one on you? Olandria, I love you, but you're not, that was not the slay you thought it was. I don't understand why her kissing Chris is like a crazy thing. Like, you don't see Andreina getting mad at like if Pepe and Grayson kiss, because at the end of the day, Pepe and Grayson are coupled up. So why would Chelley be valid in getting mad if Huda and Chris kiss? As if Huda and Chris aren't coupled up. They aren't coupled up. But like, I don't get it. I really don't. At the end of the day, like, Huda done had a few crash outs, but I feel like this one was very valid, because why are y'all all coming at her with this nonsense? The next person to get mail was Chris, which I'm also going to speed run that because it was honestly pretty boring, not that big of a deal. The first one was Cierra basically asking him, do you actually like Huda, or are you just like playing in her face or whatever? And he was saying he does genuinely like her. I think he does genuinely like her. I don't really know why that's for real in question, but I think he does. And then the next one was by Chelley, and she basically said the switch up is crazy. Like, I don't know what you expect. Like, at the end of the day, you keep telling him your strongest connection is Ace. Like, why do you expect him to just keep like chasing you? He's not the type of person to chase. He's already said that. Like, he can only chase for so long, you know what I mean? But at the end of the day, right now, Huda's connection is growing stronger and is stronger than yours with him. So I'm like, why are we acting confused? So the next person to receive mail was Olandria. And she only received anything from Clark, which I don't know what she was about to say, because I was like, I feel like anything you said, like anything you could say, you've already said. I really don't see what else y'all have to talk about for real. Clark basically said back in Casa Amor, when Olandria came back, she was talking in the beach hut saying that she didn't like being described as a test, and that's literally what she wrote in her mail, that she didn't appreciate being called a test. To that, I'm saying, Clark, you quite literally were a test. That's the point of Casa Amor. Like, did they not tell you? Like, did they bring you here without telling you why you were gonna be here, girl? because that's what Casa Amor is for, is to test the already made and set relationships. That's the whole point. So I'm confused as to why you're confused why she said you were testing their relationship. And I'm also confused why you brought this up, because it was really only relevant when you were in Casa Amor, when you were a test. Right now, you're coupled up with Taylor in the actual, like, full-fledged villa. So I'm confused as to why you're bringing this up for no reason. Like, just to say, yeah, I knew what you meant. Then why did you write it? Not making any sense. So the last person to go was Taylor. I don't remember what his first mail said, but it was something about Olandria, obviously. I don't remember at all what he said, at all. I don't know. But my takeaways were that Taylor did not like Olandria. I think he liked her as a friend and maybe had like an emotional connection with her, but he straight up said, I don't know how to have a physical connection with her, which I feel like those are the kind of things that come naturally. Like, you shouldn't have to work hard to be physically attracted to somebody. So I'm just like, he just didn't like Olandria. I think the issue is that he didn't communicate it. That's what he's not really understanding. And I think Huda was the one who said that, like, just basically tell her that. Like, I think that I mean, that's the whole thing. Like, you can feel certain things, it's just more communication. That's the big issue. And a little thing I want to say, Taylor keeps saying that Clark gives him this like kid feeling, and Olandria was basically judging him for it. In my personal opinion, I don't think it's the worst thing for someone to give you this like kid like feeling. I honestly really like being in a relationship where I feel like my inner child is being healed. That's kind of how I take it. I don't think it's a bad thing for someone to make you feel like a kid again, like you're just having fun. I don't think that's all a relationship should be, and I'm not saying that's all they have, but I don't think that's a bad thing. Like, why are we judging? I get it, he's 25, but why are we judging? Let him have fun, whatever. I don't remember what his second mail said either. I'm not gonna lie, I was over it by this point and I felt drained. I just know it was like Olandria was expressing her feelings. I think this was the point where Olandria basically was losing her cool a little bit, which was, it's very rare to see that, and it was very sad to see, oh, she's really been like holding back, and it's like now she's expressing herself. You could like low-key hear her voice cracking and stuff. It was very, very, very sad. I felt really bad. She was basically saying it hurt to hear that you wanted to spare her feelings when you did not spare my feelings once throughout this entire thing, which I'm like, yeah, he really did not. Like, he did not care about protecting her. But this is why I think she should just move on, and she should have moved on the minute he chose another girl over her. He risked her being dumped once again. She didn't just walk away. Like, I don't really understand, girl. You know your worth, so know that worth and leave this man. I didn't really like the way Taylor was saying she wants me to move for her. No, she didn't. She wanted you to be honest with her. You kept saying, I still want to explore you too. Oh, I wanted to kiss you in this challenge, but I wanted to be respectful to Clark, yada yada, whatever. And I'm like, you're egging this on. If you don't want her, it's okay. Just say that. Give her the chance to actually process that and move on. Like, don't turn it into like a situation with Pepe where it's like he didn't have time to process the fact that his partner was not in the thing anymore. Let her process the fact that you don't want her and you never did, so she can move on. And honestly, speed run once again. The third letter was basically just telling him to pick a side, whatever, and he chose Clark. Duh. Like, I'm so confused as to why he didn't just say that in the first place, because it was so blaringly obvious that he liked Clark more than Olandria. So I'm like, why are we egging this on? It was very unnecessary. I'm so over it. Oh girl, we done let the hair down. It's a wrap. So that's all I wanted to say. I just wanted to break down each individual letter itself, because I knew I just would feel like I couldn't do that in the actual full-fledged Love Island video, because I got a lot to talk about already. And this video is practically going to be like the same length as one of those videos. So I'm just, I'm just trying to kind of simplify it better. I feel like this game specifically was one that really needs to be broken down. That's all I had to say. It was just my personal opinion on different things that were being said, or the way that I interpreted things. This basically, like, it didn't change too much on how I feel about certain people. as far as like, I'm not gonna be like, oh, maybe I should have liked you all along. It's more so like, oh, that was kind of messed up. That's all I got to say. I think this game, I don't know. I was gonna say I think it was very necessary, but I think a lot of stuff could have just been said to somebody's face, or it's like you didn't really get anywhere. The whole Chelley and Huda thing didn't even get solved until freaking the next day. So I'm like, okay, I feel like that was gonna happen anyways. You should have just let them simmer on that or whatever. It was like so many things were started for no reason that would have just gotten solved the next day. You're doing all this when we're almost done. People are supposed to be solidifying relationships and you're not helping by being messy. I don't really know how I felt about the game. I like the premise of it in general just because it's messy, but I think for where they are, it's like, girl. But I'm ready for movie night. I've never seen a season of Love Island with that element to it, so I'm really excited to see what it'll actually look like. But in the meantime, I have a video actually like coming out soon, so it should be out already. It's about the new movie K-pop Demon Hunters. I really loved it. Please go watch that video because I went in, it was, I don't know, it was a very fun experience, you know? It wasn't draining like some of these videos be doing because them people in that villa. Yeah, so make sure to follow me on Twitter, okay? Like, I done told you why you ain't followed me yet. I love being on Twitter. It's so fun. I love, after I finish the episode, to scroll and see what everybody has to say. It's just very fun for me, and I think you should see what I have to say because I say a little bit. I try not to say too much to expose my own thoughts because I'm gonna say them on the videos, but I say a little much. Sometimes I feel like I really need to say stuff, so that's when I start talking. Follow me on Instagram. I went ahead and started the account and everything, so that's great. I will be, you know, posting when I have new videos or just posting certain pictures that I didn't feel like were needed on the main. It's like a spam account, but more, not like professional, but more structured, I guess, because my spam, I just be posting anything. Like, not everybody can be on my spam because it's just like, it's not like I say crazy stuff, it's just like you don't need to be on it. Make sure to subscribe to my lifestyle channel, like, you know, just support, show the love, whatever. I'll show the love right back, baby girl. Drop your socials, whatever. I'll follow you, the freak, like, of course. That's all I gotta say for this video. I hope you enjoy. Let me know your thoughts about this game, this episode, and just Love Island in general so far. I will reply because I need somebody to vent to about. So, you know, if you want to vent in the comments, go ahead and do your thing, baby girl. That's just how I felt. Don't judge me for my opinions. That's just gonna be the way it be. Thank you for watching this video. Love y'all. Bye.